Good morning, fifth graders. I want to welcome you to this morning's math lesson. It's going to be another day of review, and we get to make a one-pager today. But I am going to start off with going over yesterday's Take It Out the Door because I was really impressed with how many of you guys logged in and did your work and submitted your answers. And I'm going to be sharing out and shouting out to those who got those questions right for each question. And so if you were one of those people, I think I had 16 kids participate. So thank you so much. I was really impressed and happy about that. Good old Pear Deck. Good morning, Jesleen. Now, let's just talk about what we're going to be doing. But first, reminders to use that chat box. Come on. Good morning, Freddie. Go ahead and use that chat box. Getting better at remembering to look at it. So use that if you need to. Good morning, Michael and Juan. Happy Cinco de Mayo! Take notes if you'd like to. I think today, though, you might be okay without taking notes, just kind of watching because it is review. Note taking, I would highly recommend on like something new, or if you are struggling with something, you just need to review it and write it out. But I think by today, watch the video once. If you need to watch it again, take some notes, go for it. But I think you guys are getting better at it. I could tell by the Pear Deck and Take It Out the Door we had yesterday. So our math objectives for today, we will be reviewing. We will be reviewing these things, interpreting a fraction as division problem, dividing a whole number by a fraction, and also the reversal of that, dividing a unit fraction by a whole number. So that's what we're going to be reviewing, and we're going to be showing those things basically in our one-pagers that we make, and I'll go over those directions in a little bit. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me show my screen so that way I can show you the results of our ticket yesterday. Good morning, Emily. Good morning, Jocelyn. All right, and Tango's with me today. He's with me today. Okay, so here was the question we had first yesterday. So how much would each child get if there are 6 kids and 4 sticks of gum? Let's look at the results. All right, so 9 people said 4/6, and the next most popular answer was 6/4, which is a common, it's just the reversal, right? So we have to decide which one makes sense. So let me go back to the question. Let's start with, what are we sharing? That's what we need to start with, right? So what are we sharing? We're sharing sticks of gum. How many? 4. So that should be the first, that should be the top number in my fraction. So 4. And then divided by how many kids? How many kids are you dividing that into? 6 kids. So my answer should be 4/6. So let me look at that chart again. So if you said 4/6, you're one of those 9 people that got it correct. So well done. I'm going to do a shout out to those who did do that one correctly. Well done, Bella. Well done, Brian, Damaris, Emily, Kaylena, Layla, Michael, and Julian. Congratulations. Well done on that question. All right, next one. Sean divides 8 cups of granola into 1/4 cup servings. How many servings of granola does he have? So let's think about, what are we starting with? What are we sharing? We're sharing 8 cups of granola, and we're dividing it into 1/4 size servings. Let's take a look at the results. We had 32 people respond with 32 as the answer. The next most popular only had two responses, though, was 1/32. But I am impressed with this answer, I will say, because most people on this one got it correct, because it is 32 cups. Now let's look at it again so we can think about why. All right. Just checking my comments real quick. All right, let's think about why. What are we starting with? 8 cups, which is a whole number. Those 8 cups divided into 1/4 size servings. I don't want to drop 8 cups. We can do this, right? We can do this. 8 cups and dividing into 1/4 servings. Well, I have my 8 cups in my mind, and I'm going to have them all cut into fourths, which means each one's going to have 4 pieces, 4 pieces, 4 pieces. So then I'm counting how many servings will that be? Well, there's going to be 4 servings in each of those cups. So 4 times 8 is 32. Whole number. We started with that whole number. We ended with that whole number. Shout out to these people. A lot of people got this one right. We actually had Brian, Damaris, Emily, and Emily, Freddie, Jaden, Jasleen, Kaylina, Layla, Leilani, Michael, Gregory, and Julian. Well done, guys. All right, the next one. 2 friends share 1/2 of a pineapple equally. Okay, what fraction of a whole pineapple does each friend get? Well, let's take a look at our responses. Most people said 1/4. A couple people said 1/2, and one person said 4. So let's take a look at this again. What are we starting with? What are we sharing? The pineapple. How much of a pineapple? Is it a whole one? It's not even a whole one to begin with, right? So if I have 1/2 of a pineapple, I'm starting with a fraction of a pineapple. So I have 1/2 of a pineapple, and I'm going to take that 1/2 of a pineapple and divide it into 2 people so that 2 people can share it, which means that are they going to get a smaller piece than the 1/2? So my fraction is going to be my answer. And if I think about what is 1/2 of a 1/2? 1/4. If I didn't know how to do what 1/2 of a 1/2 is, which hopefully by now in 5th grade you do, but then here's the other way. What are we sharing? We're sharing pineapple, and it's 1/2 of a pineapple. We're dividing it in by 2 friends. So my answer will be, what's 2 times 2? 4. 1/4. So there's the other way to see it as well. Okay? Hopefully that was easy peasy for you. I'm going to shout out to these people who got that one correct. Well done, Bella, Damaris, Emily, Freddie, Jaden, Jasleen, Juan, Kaylina, Layla, Michael, and Adolfo. I'm happy to see Adolfo's joined us as well. Okay, so those were the 3 things that we really worked on this unit with learning about division and fractions. That is going to be what your 1-pagers will be about. Because 1-pager is a summary of your learning. And those 3 topics, if you have examples of those 3, that's perfect. And we haven't done a ton of 1-pagers for math. I will just say that out loud. We have not done a ton, and that's a goal of mine that I want to get better at. Growth mindset. I want to be able to summarize what we've learned in math and in reading with 1-pagers more often. We've done them more for reading, but not so much with math. Last year, we made a few for math to prepare for the SBAC test, which we're not doing this year. But I found those to be really helpful, and I thought, why didn't I do that with you this year? So I want to show you last year's, a couple that we made together. If we can find it, let's see. Here we go. I took a picture of them. I will say, though, that 1-pagers are supposed to be in color, right? These are all not in color, but the purpose when we did this was more for SBAC practice. So what I wanted you to see from this is the mixture of vocabulary with some pictures, with some models, some headings and things. So these were mine, and this is not exactly how you need to make your 1-pagers, but if you notice, this is all 4th grade material that I'm showing you right now. So if you look at like number sense, if you look at fractions, measurement, geometry, those are like the basic 4 topics that we learned last year. But within each topic, there are some headings in there too. So for example, looking at fractions, if you look at all the headings that are on there, I don't know, let me see if I could zoom in. Maybe. Yeah. Let me zoom into this one. So in 4th grade, here were all the things that we learned basically in 4th grade. So we learned, I'm going to start at the top. It cut off a little bit, but it says equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions, which kind of bridged what we learned in 3rd grade, and then moving on to comparing fractions, and then we moved on to adding fractions and decomposing them, which is, as you can see this year, super important to be able to break those numbers apart. Subtracting fractions, even with grouping when you're subtracting, which is kind of tricky, I think. Multiplying fractions, and then even we got into decimals as well last year. And so we're only making a 1-pager for division of fractions, but this 1-pager was all the fractions that we learned last year. And this was because we were preparing for SBAC. So what we're doing today, and I think tomorrow as well, I'm going to give you 2 days to do this, is you're going to make a 1-pager about dividing with fractions. Notice that there are some models here. There's some number lines, there's some area models. So that's something that you will want to include. This unit was also a fun one because there's a lot of food. So if you have examples of food and you're breaking it apart or dividing it, because that's what it's about, is division, but breaking apart to share with people, that could be some drawings and models that you use as well. Okay, let me just show you another one here. This was 4th grade number sense. So number sense includes quite a bit, actually. It included when we were adding, subtracting, when we rounded, and then also the prime and composite we got into a little bit, and then division and multiplication. So all of those 4 operations, which, by the way, those 4 operations we're going to be reviewing after. There's one more thing we're going to learn, but the end of the school year, which will be like coming up quickly, we're going to spend some time reviewing these things, even from 4th grade, just because I know that it would be helpful for you guys to be more proficient in these before you move on to middle school. Okay, so those are some examples of one-pagers, and the only thing I'm going to say, though, that I don't like about what I made last year with this was the color, because as you can see, it's all black and white, and it would look much better if it was in color. All right, let me, I didn't get ready to show you the directions. I do want to show that to you, so give me a second. Yeah, I think I'm going to close this. Give me 1 second. Oop, that's not what we need. That's for reading for later. Sorry. Okay. Okay. I'm wondering, did I get a thumbs down? What's that about? What is that about? Okay, I don't see my tablet showing up. Bummer. Bummer, bummer. Okay, let me switch it back then. Oh, that's not working either. Okay. It's okay. We'll make it work. All right, so I can't find my directions right now, but I did give them to you. Oh! I did give them to you, though, also in your slides for your assignments, because if you click on it, there's going to be 2 pages. The first page, I think, is reading, so you're going to need to scroll down, and you'll see the directions for math, okay? And then you're going to make sure you just do the things that are in there, but basically you need a title. I would recommend something like Dividing with Fractions. You need to have some illustrations, so some drawings, some models. You need to have some equations, so writing out what the division problem would look like. And you need to be able to just be prepared to explain things with it too. So that's going to be coming after we've completed ours. And I'm going to check in with you during our Zoom call tomorrow to make sure you're doing okay with it. But be prepared to be able to explain what you've made as well. Okay? All right, I want to do one more thing before we get going. We're going to do a number talk. So for today's math assignment, you're doing 2 things. Your number talk, and then you're going to start on your 1-pager. You don't need to finish it today because you're going to have tomorrow as well to work on it. But at least get started on it. So your number talk today, up there. Nope, up there, is about Cinco de Mayo. So my question is, how many tacos will each friend get? I've got 5 tacos, 3 friends. I know I normally wouldn't share my tacos, but for this example, we can make it work. All right, so 5 tacos, 3 friends. What's the fraction that each friend would get? And Jesline, yes, you still have the instructions for the 1-pager. That's great. I did update it a bit more with the math. So if you scroll down on the link I gave you guys, the 2nd page is more specific about math because we've used it more often with reading. All right. And Jocelyn, it sounds like you have a question about reading. I'm just going to let you know that reading would be using the book online with benchmarks. So you need to go to Clever, benchmark, and follow those steps, okay? All right. And if I didn't say good morning to you, good morning. watch this video again in case you missed it, but I did share with everybody all the people who got each ticket out the door question correct. So there were 3 questions. I went over all 3 of them, and I did a shout out to those who got them right. So if you missed that, watch it again. All right, guys, I will be back on at 11 to talk about reading. Hopefully you guys did the chart in the Google Doc. I'm going to be continuing that work at 11. So make sure you're joining me then too. Thanks for joining me today for math. I'll see you soon. Bye.